Brazil is eliminated from the World Cup, and finally, Brazilians can go back to normality, to the reality of their lives, their daily lives, to spend less time distracted with what is changing nothing in their lives. Whether Brazil winning the World Cup or not, nothing would change. So we, Brazilians, can remember and ask ourselves, what's the point of winning against all nations in the world in football and lose in education? A terrible loss in security, economy, and so on and so forth. Basically, in every area that matter in our lives. Not every 4 years, but every minute of every 24 hours in our lives. A cup that will go to a museum at the same time that we are reminded of our inferior position once we should be superior to every nation in the world. Finally, Brazilians can ask themselves why most players in Brazil's national team play for clubs outside of Brazil. Why the first thing after standing out in their football is to leave Brazil. Why? Well, this is left out there for those who want to think and answer. But there are other lessons we can learn. We should draw lessons in everything. There were thousands of hours of training, concentration, but in one match, a few moments that were bad, from bad decisions, and a dream is over all of a sudden. And the training was worthless all the years. No one remembers the effort, but the elimination. This is precisely what Apostle Paul had in mind when he wrote in his first letter to the Corinthians in chapter 9, even using sport as an analogy, as I'm doing here. He said, "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things." He's talking about discipline that is demanded to every athlete who wants to win. Every athlete that depends on their body, some physical skills or abilities, they train severely and they learn to discipline their body in their eating, sleeping, exercising, everything they do or don't do with their bodies, so that in the moment of the effort in their activity, in their sport, they may be in absolute form to be able to give their best and to have the best result. So Paul says, "And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown." Which means the trophy that only a few reach, those who compete, only one can take the trophy home. That trophy is perishable, as it happened with the World Cup that Brazil won in the 70s, was stolen. A golden cup was stolen. So, a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown, which means our prize, our spiritual prize, the victory in the spiritual life, in the soul that conquers heaven. This crown is imperishable. This treasure no one can steal from you. Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty. Thus I fight, not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body. In other translations it says, I beat up my own body, which is a strong expression, close to the original Greek saying, which is literally to put your body under a physical pressure, like an athlete does. But I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest, when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified. Paul is talking about self-control, to control yourself, which is what we need to understand if we want to win in everything in life. In sports, when someone faces an adversary, that person knows that their adversary has also prepared as much as they did. The adversary came ready. They didn't come to the combat unprepared or without strategies. The adversary has to study the enemy. They study the enemy. Where are their weak spots? How can I beat my opponent? Where do they relax or deficient? Where do they think that they are good, but they are not that good? So the enemy studies the weak spots of their adversary to attack where they are weak. Likewise, sin, the devil, who is the greatest promoter of sin, the great tempter, what does he do? He spends all his time studying you, looking at you, evaluating you, as the holy text says, like a starving lion, surrounding you, watching your behaviors, what you click on the internet, what you see, what you consume, what you like, what you speak, your inclinations, your past, your history, your weak spots in your life. He knows if your family is a weak spot or your love life, if money is a weak spot for you, if your character. He knows because he studies you. He wants to defeat you. His prize is your soul. So he works to find a breach. Just as in a football match, all that the enemy needs is one mistake, just one. One wrong pass, a wrong decision, a run or a lack of a run, and then he scores. Likewise, the devil needs one breach, one mistake, one concession, so that he may come and enter your life and cause such a great damage. You lose your peace, your communion with God, at times your marriage. You lose everything because you made a mistake and you made a concession. You were not disciplined and you didn't say no to yourself. This is the understanding we must have, that a defeat does not start just like in football. It doesn't start in the match or in the score. A defeat starts when self-control ends, when bad decisions are made on a daily basis. There is where their defeat started. The score is just the result. And the score in your life is the result of many choices you have been making throughout the years. If you want to change the score in your life, if you want to win, you need to start winning now, on a daily basis. On your choices. For instance, you are choosing to listen to this message, to the Word of God. You are not only listening to me, but the Word of God that I'm preaching to you. This is a good decision you are making. But what are you going to do later? Are you going to forget it? You're going to click on something else and go on with your life and do nothing about it? Or will you stop and reflect, wait, my God, I'm losing in life. A terrible loss in my marriage, in my finances, my character, my relationships. How can I change the game? Where discipline is lacking? Where have I been making more concessions towards my will and forgetting to dominate myself and beat up my own body? Where should I beat up my body because I have been giving to the pleasures of my body, only thinking about the moment and forgetting that tomorrow I'll feel the pain. I think about the here and now, but later I have pain after the pleasure. What will you do after this message? Here is where you start to see changes or not, depending of what you are going to do every minute, in every choice, in every decision. Those who want to change their lives, they must give up certain pleasures, certain choices, to conquer the best, to conquer what is worth it. According to the Word of God says, I beat up my body, I exercise self-control, I control my desires, and I understand that my flesh is my enemy. Temptations of sin that come against me are enemies, and I must overcome them. Everybody is playing a game of their lives. Either you are going to win or lose. There's no draw. There's no extra time, penalties. Either you are going to win to your last breath or you're going to lose. Those who will win, as Paul said, those who beat up their body, those who focus, those who exercise self-control, looking at the imperishable crown, the imperishable prize that is waiting for those who practice their faith. You are in control. It's not Neymar who is in control of it. Or Brazil's manager who is in control of this is you. So take the wheel of your life, of this game, so that in the end, you may not be bitter because of a loss that will last way more than 4 years. If you have made it this far, it is because you want to be a better person. I challenge you to choose one thing you learn in today's video and put it into practice. I'll see you here next time.